VISINEL BALAN is 32, but part of him remains trapped in his childhood. Beneath the tree is a train set for his son, who lives with his ex-partner. As a child, VISINEL didn't enjoy any games. He was an orphan during Romania's dictatorship.
One of the saddest things was our educators' behavior. The way they would abuse us when we couldn't learn simple things, like counting from 1 to 5, or reciting the alphabet. It was like the worst nightmare you can imagine. The only happy time we had at the orphanage was when we slept. But even that could turn into something horrible, if you soiled the bed, for instance.
30 years ago, the West discovered the plight of the Ceausescu orphans, 100,000 emaciated children living in appalling conditions, most abandoned by poor Romanian families at a time when contraception and abortions were banned. After the execution of the dictator, the orphanages received humanitarian aid. But survivors like VISINEL say little changed before the millennium.
In the 90s, there was even more violence in the orphanage. So whenever I could, I would run away and hide around the train station for safety. I had a sense of freedom, and I felt good. Of course, I was afraid of getting caught, but the fact that I wasn't getting beaten up every day made me feel safe. And so I would beg for money to survive.
30 years after the end of the dictatorship, Romania has the largest rate of abandoned children in Europe. 15-year-old GABY is one of them. He's always lived in slums or squats. He only started school 4 months ago.
I've just begun to learn how to write. It's going well, and I feel a lot more intelligent now.
Like GABY, there are 5,000 street children, 50,000 in state care. This charity reaches out to them with a circus workshop. Its head says the communist legacy is still felt.
Ceausescu's extreme natalist policies led to the birth of very large numbers of unwanted children. Romanian authorities still have a repressive approach when it comes to child protection. It's a system which prefers to institutionalize children rather than provide support to very low-income families. That's why children from poor backgrounds who live on the streets are likely to end up in an institution.
There are 2 generations of street children living in Bucharest's squats. GABY takes friends from the circus workshop back to his squat. Alan with his red backpack and ALINA with her blue jacket. 38-year-old ALINA is the only one to have made it off the street after the violence of the orphanage.
They used to shave our heads, and they would also beat us black and blue. Sometimes to punish me, they would stop feeding me.
Regardless of age, these orphans need constant affection. Alan struggles in society. He's 31, has been on the street since 18.
When I finally left the orphanage, I didn't have any friends, no contacts whatsoever in the outside world. When you've been in a place like that for so many years, it becomes difficult to relate to normal people. When you get out, you soon learn that normal life is very different from what you've known. And I wasn't prepared for it at all.
I think the state should help children like us to learn about more positive things, to become more self-confident. They shouldn't abandon us and leave us to fend for ourselves. They should trust us, that's what I think.
All the orphans we met remain traumatised. Many are seriously ill, take drugs and alcohol. VISINEL BALAN is the exception. He got off the street studying law. He's a parliamentary assistant in Romania's Senate, housed in the huge People's House built under Ceausescu. He helped Senator VLAD ALEXANDRESCU study the cases of abandoned children.
My objective here is to develop a body of laws that will make adoptions easier so each and every child finally has a family.
Together they investigated the abuses of the current child protection system.
The children are no longer tied up, but ropes have been replaced by drugs. It's more efficient and less visible. It's also very destructive for the children. A child or a teenager who takes tranquilizers for 4 or 5 years at such a crucial stage in development, well, his future is doomed.
During our report, Romania's Child Protection Service declined to let us film life in any of the children's homes. At his squat, Gaby dreams of becoming a father and of being able to keep his children. VISINEL BALAN hopes to make his own mark on local politics as a member of a new anti-corruption party.